once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. Trust me.
That's what happened with the Black Panther.
Yeah, I remember when the racist white lady in the View said that, right? She said once these Negroes get guns, the laws are going to change. Well, since the pandemic, black gun ownership has been up. And as much as we clutched our pearls when she said that dumb shit, we knew she wasn't wrong. She was just wrong about the party in which was going to restrict your Second Amendment rights. Let's talk about it.
That it filed a lawsuit in state Supreme Court in Buffalo just before 9 a.m. against gun manufacturers and distributors. This is the first lawsuit of its kind suing ghost gun defendants as well as firearm manufacturers and distributors. Gun industry members have been fueling gun violence in Buffalo and continue to do so every day. Unfortunately, gun violence is only getting worse in Buffalo and across the country. Even with all the things my office and the Buffalo Police Department are doing to curb gun violence, unfortunately, we are still seeing illegally possessed guns get into the wrong hands. The horrific and devastating shooting at Tops on May 14th is sadly just one of many shootings that have taken place in our city. We have suffered too much and for too long from gun violence. And as a community, we must do all that we can to decrease gun violence. Enabling gun use destroys lives and deeply affects our neighborhoods, especially in black and brown communities. I am proud to stand up to the gun industry and fight for the safety of people living, working, and visiting the city of Buffalo. The city is not going to let gun industry members continue to flood our city with illegally possessed guns. We will hold them responsible. Now let me be clear, our goal is not to prevent legal gun ownership. This is just another proactive strategy that we are utilizing in Buffalo to keep our community safe.
And let the bullshit begin. So, here you have it today. And I just found this out because I went to go purchase my 10 mil. And I knew something was going on weird in the gun store. Things were on the shelf. They didn't have ammo. But between the governor's new unconstitutional gun laws that she implemented after she lost in the Supreme Court, which made New York no longer a may issue state but a concealed carry state. Between that and now this, which is even 10 times worse, they just basically killed the gun industry in New York. Basically, they used some little law that was intended for the opioid crisis and for lawmakers to go after the people who sell the stuff and the doctors as well. They now have taken that to sue gun, not only manufacturers, but FFLs, right? So you heard him say that bullshit about it's not about the legal gun owners and all that, but you just made it more difficult for them to get guns. If manufacturers don't want to be sued, which they're frivolous lawsuits, right? They're just made to bankrupt or push people out of the state. The same way that the new governor's law with the 16 hours of shooting, the tests, that was also intended, although they claim it's not to hurt the gun owners, the legal ones, that has made it more difficult, right? So that gun situation that might cost you, let's say it was what? The 6-hour course was like $60. Then you get fingerprinted, which is like $70-$80. And the application fee is like $25. So all that's like under $200. Now it's that plus another $400 or $500 to do the same thing. So basically, they just priced out a bunch of people who are in crazy economic situations. Most likely the black and brown people that they claim they're trying to save with this bullshit, they just hurt. But the same way they're trying to hurt the manufacturers. Not only that, but the FFLs who sell these guns. So now because Cabela's and Walmart decided to be idiots, which I don't support those big box chain stores like that anyways. Bass Pro, none of that. I don't support any of those. Where we go is our local FFLs, which, yeah, you pay a lot more for the same stuff, but it's local. You're supporting a mom and pop business. Those people can't afford these type of lawsuits, and they're shutting their doors. This situation, again, between what happened with Kathy Hochul and her new laws and what he just did, because New York City has done the same thing. They went after ghost guns. This one is way more expensive. Ironically enough, you can't sue if a guy is a drunk driver and being irresponsible, but he had a bunch of Budweiser. If I get hit and I get hurt and my car get messed up and I lose work and I lose resources, yeah, it depended on which level of DWI he got, depending on how many he has. He's probably not gonna do any jail time. He's probably gonna get fined. His insurance company's gonna go up and stuff like that. If he has guns and this is more than one DWI, they will take his guns. But for the most part, nothing's gonna happen. And I can't, as a consumer, sue Budweiser because this idiot used their product irresponsibly. But somehow, if you do your job as an FFL, you do the background checks, you make sure all your I's and T's are dotted and crossed, which is not really nothing you do. You just punch in a bunch of numbers. It goes to the FBI, and they say he can go get a gun. He's approved. That's your due diligence. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, some are even better. They read the room. They listen to how you're acting and behavior. They have a right to also refuse to give you a gun at an FFL. If they feel like something is fishy, things don't line up, you want certain body armor, things like that, they can choose whether or not they want to sell it to you. But beyond the point, that's not necessarily their responsibility to do that, but they can do that. They have a right of refusal as well. But your main focal point is to make sure these people take a background check and they pass it. You did your job. Now you can be sued if that person does something wrong. But the reality is that's not even what's happening with the gun crimes in New York. Pookies and Ray-Bays are not going to gun stores and getting guns the legit way. We already know that. In this little segment where you have black people being the face of the gun control for black folks, which is mind-boggling. I'm watching black people on TV talk about anti-Semitism. I'm watching black people on different networks in support of illegal immigration, even though that hurts black people. Now you got black mayors and lieutenant governors on TV where the crime is the worst in their cities, right? Where black people can't defend themselves and they don't have access the same way other groups do. They're also, again, fighting against their own interests. The white racist lady on The View was right. She was just wrong about the party and what you did it. We know that gun ownership went up like however many percent since the pandemic. But generally, black women, which simply just means they are late to the party. Nonetheless, they went out and started getting guns and getting training. So all these black people who, I'm about to go get me a gun and I'm about to go train and I'm about to do this. Well, between this law and the ability for the mayor of a city to sue gun manufacturers and deem FFLs a nuisance up there with pornography, which pornography is like free now. It's on the internet. Like, you don't need to go to a store to do that anymore. Like, it's literally free in the palm of your hands. Pause. But he made them a nuisance. So between these two new laws and statutes, whatever, they just killed the gun industry in New York. So you thought you were about to go get your gun and get ready for the next time a tiki torch dude comes to your city, which 9 times out of 10, if a person has you need to use your gun to defend yourself, they're going to look like you and not like that kid. But it's not going to happen. It's going to take for you 9 months to a year now to get a gun, especially in Buffalo and Erie County. So the time to get a gun is going to be longer. They want all types of information if you were dating a person and you lie about that, then that means that they have to check them out. Marijuana is legal, which I've always said from the get-go was a trap, and I said that black folks was going to fall for it, black men in particular. Y'all want to smoke weed, but y'all want guns, but you can't have both because they contradict each other. But weed is legal now, but we're hurting the gun industry in this state. That was an obvious trap. Like, I saw that happening plain as day. But anyways, this is that bullshit. It is what it is. I'm exempt from all this, thank God. Peace officer status. But it does suck that in a time where black folks are starting to recognize their Second Amendment rights, even liberals. I remember when that pandemic first hit and it started looking gloomy. When you looking in the grocery stores and it's empty shelves, when you got the people in the back panicking, talking about, yeah, we ain't had a truck come in. I had those, why you got all them guns, females, yo, can I borrow a gun? Like, how do I get me a shotgun? Like, I can't go to Walmart no more and get it, or what's the deal? And now, 2.5 years later, a bunch of laws got passed, a bunch of stuff happened by Democrats, right? By Democrats. Black women largely the base of the Democratic Party, right? 90-something%. Also, the face of new gun ownership, 50-something new percent. Isn't that a conflict of interest? Y'all voted for the party that's going to restrict your right to defend yourselves. You claim you're not protected when the party that you voted for doesn't want to protect you, or doesn't want to let you have the ability to protect your damn self, because that's the reality of what it is. You're welcome. But I'll leave a link to this segment. It's a 20-minute long video. They even have a police chief come on here. Absolutely nothing that they're doing with this new lawsuit is going to stop gun violence. The 40,000 gun deaths that happened last year, and I'm sure that a lot of it, some of it was more so due to the pandemic and the mental illness of the shutdowns and lockdowns and all that stuff that also happened under Democratic leadership. They say the numbers and data and statistics, but they don't say why. They don't say that out of them 40,000, like 25, 30 of them are suicides from white men, generally, mostly. They don't say that the other 10%, 10,000 is Pookies and Ray Rays and gang violence. They don't say that. Less than 2% are mass shootings. And especially in this state, probably less than 1%. We had one, right? But now, it is what it is. This situation, I just walked to the gun store that I knew it was weird. It was eerie in there. It was, I knew something wasn't right. I went there 3 times in a row, tried to get some AK ammo. Couldn't get none. They waited till we'll see what happened, who won the governorship, came back again. Guns are off the wall. I come back again. There's no ammo. I come back again. There's only shotguns and hunting rifles on the wall. Like, I saw that. It slowly happened. I'm like, it's not looking good. A lot of folks were dependent on Lee Zeldin to win, but that didn't happen. And then who knows how long it's going to take for the Supreme Court to address the new laws that she put on the books to restrict our rights as New Yorkers. But that's my video. I'm at 15 minutes. It is what it is. You vote blue, now you can't get no guns in New York anymore. Why would a gun industry or a gun manufacturer do business here now? And you notice it's going to be beyond New York. Oregon just did something, and I'm looking at Atlantic Firearms saying, well, they will only ship 10 round mags. Not just to the states that have the infringements on standard capacity magazines, just in general. So it's like the underground market that these laws are about to make is ridiculous. A lot of people are going to just be doing shit on 3D printers and crossing straight state lines to get what they got to get. But yeah, this is not good news at all for the 2A community, especially New Yorkers, especially black folks who they claim this is supposed to protect. Ay, ay, ay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming today. This lawsuit is about remembering the victims of 514 and all the other victims of gun violence in the city of Buffalo. We're not here, as the mayor and our outside counsel has stated, to prosecute the legal possession of guns, but the illegal possession of guns and what it has done to our community. The staggering results of gun violence in this city, as well as across the country, have seen young people under the age of 20 being the leading cause of their death. This is something that I feel very passionate about as a mother and as a grandmother, that I want to see my grandchild grow up. I don't want him to have to be a victim of gun violence in school, where we're sending them to school to learn, but yet and still they have to face this reality that's caused by the illegal possession of guns. We've seen what it's done across the city, so I want to stand proudly with the mayor and with my senior deputy corporation counsel, Mary Sarpeen, Commissioner Bramalia, and our outside counsel and others to do what we can as a department serving the city, to do everything within our power to prosecute and to defend the city for any actions that are brought against us, and to make sure that our streets are safe.
Thank you, Corporation Counsel Chambers. We'll now open up for questions that the members of the media have.